Morning all, how are we doing? Just quickly, just taken another DAX trade this morning. Just got stopped out of the initial ones I went into this morning. Looking for this gap fill basically. So just taking another entry there just before the open. We've got 10 minutes to the open, but I'm just trying to try and get an initial position built up just to see if we can get that run at the open. But we'll see. Morning David, morning Profstar. So start with the news this morning. We had the Aussie dollar rates this morning, bigger than expected. Again, they've surprised us with a larger rate increase. Was forecast at 0.6, we got 0.85, so 0.15% larger than the forecast. I was watching obviously what was happening on Financial Juice this morning. They were more worried about inflation than they were letting on basically. So obviously stuff's going to start getting more expensive in Australia, as usual, with everybody. So the Aussie dollar reaction this morning was knee-jerk reaction up. We got big ADR hit, and then it's traded straight back down again after the news. So there was a load of longs entered basically, and they all got retraced. So it looks like we're going to get that strength today off the Aussie dollar that we were anticipating, or that I was anticipating on the rate announcement. It may well be stronger than anticipated because obviously the rate is not as expected, but we'll see what happens today. And it could go either way really, but it's difficult to know whether the market factored in the rate increase or whether that is enough to worry the market anymore. So we'll see. But morning Diamond, Tammy, Andy. So the rate announcement came out. So if you had longs on the Aussie that you were holding, you got a nice little spike for half an hour on the news, but it's all retraced back. But they are all pushing again. So obviously what we've got was the big move on the news, a retracement, and it's pushing back up again now. So decent moves to the upside for the Aussie. There's a few other ADRs this morning as well. Obviously all the Aussies have hit ADR. We've got the Euro odd and the Pound odd also hit ADR, obviously, because they're the odds. We've also though had Swiss yen pushed up really strong during the Asian session. So if you look at all the yen, not the Aussie yen, but all the yen pairs, another weak yen opening, big push up. The pound's not done as well, obviously, with what's going on with Boris. New Zealand's had some movement, obviously, off of the Aussie dollar news. But yeah, weak yen again today. So big, strong push on the yen. I wouldn't be looking really to try ADR reversals on these yens. So we've got the Swiss yen. It's the only one that's hit ADR at the moment, weak Swiss franc. And we've got Euro pound. Massive push up on Euro pound in Asia. Euro's had a big sort of spike during the Asian session. Around the news basically that came out of Australia. So there's a fair bit of price action gone on pre-market today. You can see the pound's had a bit of a tumble as well. Market waking up to the fact that Boris is still in power. So negative reaction on the pound, which is kind of what we're expecting to happen anyway as well. So quite a bit of pre-market action. I'm going to be watching the FTSE and the DAX this morning. See if we can get some decent movement to the upside on the DAX at the open. So yesterday on the DAX, we made new highs, had a nice bullish candle, but we didn't make any progress really on the previous days. So obviously this is last week. We're pretty much back to where we were from the week before. So no real progress made yesterday. We did have a bullish candle, but didn't close very strong. We're back up at the 200 at the moment. So yeah, still looking for bullish price action on it. Although I am looking for this gap fill this morning. So the market closed up here in Frankfurt yesterday. We've opened up down here this morning. So as you can see, we had that initial push, pullback and push I'm looking for. I got in here this morning on this open and it immediately came down and took me out all my stops. So I've just got another position added onto there. I'm looking for some buyers to come in at the open hopefully and just push us back up into this area. So I'm going to add to this initial position that I've got on if we get some bullish price action at the open. Can I check Telegram? Yeah, if you're bullish on the DAX, go for it. I don't use trend lines myself, but if you're bullish on the DAX, basically what you've pointed out is the trend line on the that trend line doesn't work. I mean, it depends where you draw your trend line, doesn't it? I mean, you've chopped off, you know, this is why I don't use trend lines, yeah? So what you've drawn in Telegram is great, but I'll draw it like that, I'll draw it like that, I'll use that bit there, I might use that bit there, and see how much difference and variation there is on that thing. Yes, it's in an uptrend at the moment, but equally, I could say, well, we're in a downtrend at the moment. You know, I don't use trend lines, but yeah, if that's your idea and you want to go long, go for it. When you hit the button, it goes up or it goes down. We've got 1 minute to the open. Morning, Peter. Seconds. Just realised that I didn't check on Bitcoin yesterday or gold. Didn't do anything last week, did it? Bitcoin, and neither did gold. Morning, Franco. Still in recovery. Just watching to get my brain back in the game. So you went to Greece. Opa, yeah. Yeah, very nice. Very hot, Greece. Okay, market's open. Oops, I just changed the chart by accident. Going long one more. Good buying coming in. Closing one. Just watching this second bit. It's quite a big old open, that. some fairly decent buying coming in at the open, but it seems to have stalled now, so I'm just watching to see if we get a retracement on this. I don't want to get stuck the wrong side of pump and dump this morning. We have got a fair amount of movement. We've got another 50 odd points up to the gap. The Telegram channel's not working for some reason. I don't know what is going on with it, but the EA is running. It's just not sending signals out today for some reason. I don't know why. Nothing's changed from yesterday. It's just not sending signals. So apologies for that. Don't know why it's not working. This is why I don't bother doing signal services, because 90% of the time they don't work. Anyway. I'll have a look into that after the live room. I will post in there trades that I'm taking manually. I can't do it obviously while I'm live, but when I'm not live, I'll post charts in there if I can't get it working again. But I don't know why this isn't working. It's all set up correctly. Yeah, don't know, it's just not working. Anywho. Morning, Ferdinand. So we're just stalling out at the moment in this little accumulation. Just finding a bit of resistance there. There's no sellers coming in at the moment though. I'm getting ready to jump ship if I see a load of sellers entering the market here. Okay, a little bit of selling starting on the ES. Uh, 10 seconds to the close of this candle. I'm going to take that second part off. Got just continued selling, not strong, just gradual selling coming in. So big old opening range this morning. Morning, Stevie. Don't think we did the gap fill from yesterday. Did we have a gap yesterday? Yeah, we did, didn't we? So that's 14485. So I just got excuse me. Just opened my Robo Forex. Just it's easier to see the gap on Robo Forex because they don't have all the pre-market rubbish. 144.85 roughly. So that's to the downside. Where is that? Somewhere around there. So those are your potentials for upside and downside initially if we're going to go for gaps. At the moment it's very, very quiet. Not a lot going on anywhere. It's a really difficult opening range to work with today. I was just going to follow up on what we were talking about yesterday. I can't remember who it was in here. Someone in here was just saying, is there any video on my kind of strategy, if you want to call it that, for price action? Which kind of got me thinking yesterday. We're just testing the opening range lows here at the minute. Just going to wait and see what happens with this one, this candle. And my answer was, there's not really a strategy or really a simple way to sort of teach price action. Price action is price action. Like, this is now bullish. You can see it's bullish because there's a whacking great wick. Everybody that's tried to sell has been rejected, and the buyers are stepping in. So you want to be looking at hitting the buy button rather than the sell button, because but equally, that is bearish, that is bullish. What do you do? At the moment I'm doing nothing because I haven't got a set of indications that are telling me to go either way at the moment, so I'm flat. And that's basically what it is. And when you're scalping on these lower time frames, like Prost has just said, he's drawn a full analysis in the Telegram group for what could well be happening today with the DAX based on a trend line. And if that's your bias, then you hit the buy button when you think it's ready to go. And you've got as much chance of that going up right now as I have of hitting the sell button and it going down. If we both hit that button right now and it goes up there and then does that, we can both come out of it with $500. With strategy, when you're scalping, the strategy is to get in, going long one, when you see a sign of something happening that you think, right, that looks a bit bullish, and get in, and then get out when it looks like it might be bearish. So right now I'm going along here thinking I'm probably going to get out when we retest these highs. Unless we slam through these highs, then I'm going to go for this gap. That's my thought process. I'm either going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. What is going to happen next, I have no control over. So it's either going to stop me out down here, or it's going to go up. And that is basically the strategy. It doesn't matter how many times you say, I'm only going to trade a doji followed by a bullish candle, for example, just picking that as a candle at random, or I'm going to trade a doji followed by, or a spinning top followed by a bearish engulfing. That will work X% of the time, and the rest of the time it won't. With scalping, it's more about what happens after you hit this button. What's it look like now? It looks bearish at the moment, doesn't it? But I'm seeing buyers coming in, so I'm okay with it. If it's going down and I'm seeing buyers coming in on the ES and the S&P and the NASDAQ, it gives me a bit of confidence, because it's telling me that all these sellers that are pushing price down now are probably going to get absorbed by all these buyers. If this goes sideways now, I'm going to close the trade out. But doesn't make me an amazing trader or a rubbish trader whether I hit the button after a pattern has happened or a pattern hasn't happened. It's just a case of trying to get a percentage into your bank every day by some shape or form. And people look at me trying to play this gap long, and as Stevie's just pointed out, there's a gap short. So if you're short biased today, just keep hitting the sell button. This thing might just go like this all day, and if you hit the sell button every time it goes up, you're going to make money. if I hit the buy button every time it goes down to the bottom and it does that, I'm going to make money. One of us is going to be wrong at some point and it's going to take off the other direction. But the important thing, I think, when you're scalping, as you probably saw yesterday, is you change your directional bias based on what price action is telling you. Right now, price action is neutral. We've had a push up, we've rejected. We've had a push down, we've rejected. We're neutral. There's a 50-50 shot of this going either direction at the moment. I haven't got a clue where it's going to go. I'm hoping it goes up. I might be lucky, I might not be lucky. And there's a lot of luck involved in this, obviously, because if you get in now and it flies, brilliant. If you get in now and it goes down, stops you out and then flies, is that luck? Yeah. It's unlucky, isn't it? I've been unlucky. If I'd have got in one candle later, I might have been lucky. So, you know, there's partly skill and partly luck, which is why it's so difficult and why I found it so difficult to try and produce a video to explain price action scalping, because it's a feeling thing, I think. You can't create a rule book for this. You could create a rule book for entries to say, I have to have had a big long wick before I hit the buy button to the downside. That's a rule you can follow. That's fine. But if that big long wick is created when I see a load of red here, I probably won't want to hit the button. But it's a personal choice at the end of the day. And I think this is a very kind of feelings-based way to trade scalping. And it's very much a case of where do you think it's going to go? And you've got to be, I think, presumptive with this. You've got to be thinking, right, I think it's going to go there because we've got a gap that hasn't filled. So therefore, I'm going to look to hit that button. As long as this thing shows me lots of green every now and again, and I see some wicks to the downside forming that back up my idea, I'm just going to keep hitting the buy button. If I'm wrong and it keeps wicking me out like that, there's nothing I can do about it. But I can't say that that is a strategy. That's my feelings today on where I think we're going to go. If this thing suddenly takes me out and then puts in a bearish candle like that, I'm going to be looking for pullbacks and shorts. Now my feelings are it's going to go south. But my feelings are going to flip on a coin based on what is happening during the day and what's happening minute by minute. It's wicks, tons and tons of wicks to the downside. Makes me feel bullish. But it's like I say, it's a feeling. I feel bullish. Like when I say the market feels heavy, it's a feeling. It's not a statistical fact that there have been more sellers than buyers. It just feels heavy, and you only get that from seeing this and watching it play out all the time. So, you know, because somebody messaged me in Telegram, I don't think it was the person that I was speaking to in here yesterday, but saying, you know, what would be your strategy if you could do a rule book? I haven't got a rule book, and I don't think you can make a rule book because this changes all the time, doesn't it? So it's just my opinion on it and how I kind of feel. I'd love to do a video on, you know, this is how to scalp. These are the rules for scalping. But I don't think there are any. You get in, you get out. I want to make 1.5% a day. If this now flies up to there and makes me 1.5%, I'm not coming back on again. Done. You know, that's it. And I feel it is like gambling, scalping. And I always have done. You know, people say to me, trade the 1 minute chart. You're just a total gambler, because minute by minute you have no idea where that thing is going to go. You're either going to get lucky or you're not. Technical analysis, I think, should be performed in 15 and hourly and above. Technical analysis on this is just pointless. But there are clues, yeah? We've got nothing but wicks, have we, to the downside? So do you think, right now, with this wick, this wick, this wick, this wick, and this wick, you should be bearish in the market? I personally don't. That's why I'm hitting the buy button, not the short button. It might absolutely go like that next. I've no idea, because I've got no control over Barclays Bank about to execute 200,000 contracts short this morning. I have no idea what they're going to do, but that's what's going to move the market, and I've got no control over it, have I? So hit it, hope. Which is why I gave up scalping, because it's very much like that. You'll have lucky runs and you'll have unlucky runs. It's just about hoping that you get more lucky runs than unlucky ones. But that's all you've got to go on is clues, which is kind of what my reply was to the person that messaged me in Telegram. Andy, don't think we'll see any major pound strength whilst Boris is still PM. It will only take 40 of the 148 to shift the majority out of the Tories' favour. Yeah, I think what happened with Boris yesterday, obviously we had the vote on Boris, and basically he stayed in by a narrow margin, 211 to 148. So, yeah, I think, I mean, as I said yesterday, who's in charge of the country has nothing to do with monetary policy. So it will have a sentimental impact and usually a spiky impact on the market, knee-jerk reaction type thing. But removing Boris or leaving Boris in place isn't going to affect the fact that we've got a load of debt, we've got the NHS in crisis, we've got no staff in the airports, inflation's going through the roof, poverty's getting higher, fuel prices are going up, there's a war in Ukraine. Boris has got absolutely nothing to do with those factors which are driving the market and driving the pound down at the moment. So it doesn't matter what happens with Boris, really, I don't think. There will be a reaction if something like that happened. And if you're in a short on the pound and that happens and the market knee-jerk reaction is, oh my God, crash, well done. If you're not, you're going to get stopped out. Or if you're in a position, you're going to need to take an additional entry. So, it's the same thing, isn't it? But yeah, I don't... he called it a convincing victory yesterday. I wouldn't call that convincing. You were 40 votes away from being stuffed, basically, weren't you? So, we'll see. The entry and exit is only part of it. It's all about how much you risk per trade and where you're putting your stops. Yeah, as Diamonds just said. Adjusting on the fly depending on the conditions. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm not very convinced I'm right on this trade. I'm toying with the idea of getting out. We've got 1 minute left on this candle. I'm going to see where this candle closes, but I'm just underneath the opening range here. If this now comes down and takes me out, which it looks like it's going to do, I'm just getting out before it does it. Oh, that was lucky. Again, there's that word again, luck. So yeah, I mean, if like that just came down, took me out. Now, if this flies. Was I right? Yes. Was my stop in the wrong position? Yes. Have I got any idea where my stop should be? No. I've no idea where you should put a stop. You could put it under that candle, that candle, that candle, that candle. And everybody will say, well, the liquidity is going to be sitting under there. It might be sitting under there. It might be sitting under there. You don't know, do you? When they get down there and the buyers overpower the sellers, that's when it will go. You get lucky or you don't. We've still got loads of wicks to the downside at the moment, but we had a little flurry of sales come in there, so tricky conditions this morning. We'll have a look at the FX markets in a minute. Just going to quickly run over the US markets. Yesterday, got that move down on the Nasdaq that I was expecting, but we didn't get a bearish candle. So we are still sitting down at these lows at the minute, which is another reason for slight bullishness this morning. We're just stuck basically in an accumulation. So we're in a really, really tricky spot on all of these indices at the moment, where we've had obviously a big rally down. We've put in a low, we've broken a high. So market structure is potentially starting to shift a little bit more bullish, but all we're doing at the moment is in an accumulation, waiting for it to decide which way it's going to go. So The S&P is very much the same. We had a bit of a push down. The Dow, obviously, we did manage to get a close, bearish close on the Dow, but so we're way more bearish on the Dow than we are on the others, but still no real indication of direction yet. And obviously, as we've got a gap long and short at the moment on the DAX, so a little bit of bearish action coming in. Going short one. If we break this candle low here, I'll add don't want to get whipped out this morning. Okay, second one short. Not a lot of price action this morning. Yeah, Prost has said it's 1 minute and 5 minutes is all about price action. You're in the here and now, right now. What's it doing right now? It's all about momentum scalping. Yeah, when you need to catch these moves quick, in and out, couple of candles, one candle, seconds sometimes. You know, if this thing suddenly goes boom, 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 and hits these lows, I'm closing that order out straight away. Take the money, take it while it's there. So this is our opening range, potentially our opening range low break. We've got 1.5 minutes left on this candle yet, but at the moment we're looking like we're breaking the opening range low. So there's an argument for shorting down to gap fill initially. So somewhere in this, I mean, we're going to hit a lot of traffic at this low as well. So it's going to be quite a tricky move down this morning, I think. But so that is initial target, and then obviously down these lows. But ultimately, obviously, looking for next leg down on the DAX. Got nothing happening in the Ukraine war at the moment as well, have we? Which has been driving the indices. Yes, so just pulled it back up again. 30 seconds left on this candle. Again, bullish. It's just whip soaring this morning, so closing those. Just whippy. We're going to have a look at the FX. This is just danger of getting chopped to pieces this morning, so let's have a look at the FX pairs. So ADRs, we covered the ADRs this morning. The Aussie dollars are the main movers. Aussie dollar New Zealand was the biggest move today so far. So we've had a push up to 175 on that one. Big strong move, one candle, obviously. That was the news release, knee-jerk reaction. We've pulled back into the gap and kind of stabilized on the Aussie New Zealand at the minute. The other Aussies have all pulled back and started a push. So I think the Aussie's bullish. And looking at where we've sort of pushed down to on a lot of these, we've had such a decent movement on the Aussie pairs. There's lots of support and resistance levels, so very difficult to pick where you would turn on the Aussie. But that move this morning, which obviously all got retraced, potentially is where we're going to start the move from with all of these. So I think with all of them now, we can look for longs. How you get into them is tricky because obviously none of them have got extended really. So it's just a case of hitting the button, I think, on the Aussies and waiting for that price action and look at obviously targets for of recent highs to get out of them. So getting in on reversal alerts is going to be quite tricky with these because the reversal alerts will have been triggered by the knee-jerk reactions off of the rate announcement. So retests are happening. So it's kind of just get in. If you fancy an Aussie long, you can kind of pick any one at the moment. The Aussie US and the Aussie CAD are probably the most difficult ones to take longs on because we've got a strong Canadian dollar and we should be getting some US dollar strength coming through shortly. So Aussie New Zealand is the one that is very, very, very stable. We've got a low ADR on that, so and we've just taken out the highs. So this one's kind of already gone. This one that got to 175 today, but that would be the sort of vehicle of choice. Aussie Yen as well is a really good long. We just tapped into these highs and rejected out of those highs, but the yen is incredibly weak. So any kind of pullbacks looking for longs. Not sure, somebody was in this yesterday, I think it was Andy. Don't know if you got out of it, but made a nice push this morning. So pullbacks and longs on anything Aussie really, I think. The rate announcement has shown some positive impact, but again it's all retraced. So I think the market's factored in an increase, and I'm not sure that they were particularly surprised by the rate going up again. So I think now all this recent bullish price action should continue on the Aussies. So they're all extended on the ADRs. If you look at the RSIs, they're all extended. Well, a lot of them are extended on the RSIs as well, but I wouldn't be looking really to short these. Bullish price action coming in again on DAX. Look. Really tricky to know which way we're going this morning. What's the FTSE up to? Bullish on the FTSE. It's kind of 1 minute playground today, isn't it? Okay, I'm going long one, and we're going to go buy stop above the highs as well. Oh, look at that! As soon as you hit the button, boom. Just going off the last candle. Yeah, just switched again. The reason I was taking that was because we were just about to close this candle bullish. That's the hindsight of waiting 10 seconds. Now that's completely bearish, so I'm just going to watch the watch this candle. If we close back, we move back down below the low of this candle. I'm just going to get out of this trade. Got bullish US indices, but there's no movement on the DAX at the minute. It's flat. I'm just going to reduce risk on this. Right, so yeah, so there's your ADRs. We went through these briefly, but Euro odd. Complete whipsaw on the Euro odd. I'd be looking it's difficult. I'd be looking for shorts on this one, but can't really take it from here at the moment. It's kind of sideways with a nice sort of push down, and at the moment we're just kind of sitting there directionless. They've just done a liquidity run of the lows on this, which would clear DEX to go higher. The rate announcement is on Thursday, so looking at the price action we've got on the DAX at the moment, it seems to me the market's a little bit wary of what the ECB and Lagarde are going to do on Thursday, just in case they come out with any shock advance moves on the rates. Expected to be 0, but obviously that could change at any time. So I think we're going to go into a bit of a holding pattern on these euro pairs, and I don't really want to take any euro trades until we've got that ECB announcement and get some clear direction on what is going to be happening with the ECB. The rate announcement is due for July for their first increase, but obviously they could bring that forward. So I want to wait and see what happens with that first, and the market to give kind of a clear indication of what's going to be going on with the euro. I should have that on my other chart, sorry. So euro odd, that ADR extension, can't really do anything with that one, and the euro pound is, again, it's a tricky one. It's a bear against a bear at the moment, sideways, very sideways. I can't really call the weakest out of these two at the moment. They're both massively weak. Good buying coming in. Just not really any opportunities on those. And the pound odd, be looking for shorts on this, ideally. And obviously we've just had the push down and pull back, so there's not really any opportunities there. So ADRs today, nothing really exciting on any of those. Hourlies, we've got quite a few setting up. Just watching what's happening. So I've got into my second position on the DAX. We've just got no momentum at all. We're getting these little flurries of orders coming through, and then we're just getting whipped out all the time. Very dangerous today. I'm just hoping we get a move start. Keep getting the makings of a move, but no move. I'm getting a little too tight, I think, this morning. But should really be sitting on the hands a little bit more than I am, but anyway. Right, okay, leave that a minute. Right, so hourlies, Aussie dollar yen extended nicely on the hourly. So again, wouldn't we want to take shorts on this at the moment? It is nicely extended, but we've got a massively weak yen. So again, you don't really want to be fighting this at the moment. This is what happened with the yen previously before we had the pullback. This thing could continue to go. The Bank of Japan came out with lots of news. That's a classic. I have no comment on FX levels. Thanks for the help. If the yen does not move too sharply, a weak yen is beneficial to Japan's economy. It's all like talking up the fact that they're stuffed, basically. We've just got to get stopped out on the DAX. Have been stopped out. But I'm leaving it today. Today is not a trading day on the DAX. So basically Aussie dollar yen, anything yen basically, the way they're talking at the moment is a case of we don't care. Underneath there, it's like they're like a duck at the moment. Might look nice and calm and serene, but they are paddling really hard underneath to keep themselves afloat. The yen is stuffed. They're buying the yen up. Every opportunity they get, they're buying their currency, and their currency is tanking. So they are pumping more and more and more of their wealth into something that is depreciating in value. That is never a good thing to do. It's like continuously buying a stock that's collapsing when the company's announced it's going to close. You just wouldn't do it, would you? they are. So the yen is weak and struggling to find a way out of its current positions. So I wouldn't want to be trying to short the yen at the moment, anything against the yen at the moment. But equally, trying to get into the yen is really, really hard. These are the pullbacks you're getting. Good luck. If you're getting in here, sod's law is the one that you get into will be the one where it starts to do that. You know, it's just a very dangerous thing to trade at the minute, I think. Yeah. Aussie New Zealand nicely extended again. Aussie dollar expected to strengthen. It's gone. Don't want to be shorting that. It's really hard to get into anything at the minute. CAD yen, nice extensions. It's not a mean reversion sort of day at the minute. Now we're getting some selling coming in. I want to see a bearish candle or a bullish candle. I want to see something that tells me, yeah, we're actually starting to move. Right now, we've got 2.5 minutes, and this thing's probably going to end back up there again, going on where we are at the minute. So I'm just waiting to see if we get something painted that's going to hold. CAD yen, again, same thing. Very strong Canadian dollar at the moment off the back of oil. Very weak yen. No reason why this should be turning around at any point. If you get a reversal alert on this, that is kind of when you kind of want to do the opposite to the reversal alert with the yen. So if you get a reversal alert to the downside, you want to buy it. You know, that's the way it's going at the moment. Every break we get is a very, very minor pullback. So you just want to be taking all of those, but they're very, very difficult to get into. So I wouldn't want to be shorting the CAD yen at the minute. Euro Swiss. So this is just got extended again after this initial push. So the pound Swiss and the Euro Swiss yesterday were decent entries short. Euro has had a pop this morning. The pound has had a dump this morning. So the pound Swiss is the one that I said looked good to get into yesterday. It did give you an opportunity to get in. You had an alert there to get in, but that was really the only one you got. This is the one we were looking at yesterday, where I said if we get a break of the low of this candle, that's where I would look to try and get in, because the reversal alert was sitting here. It was way too far away. This was, I think, 125 or the 150 extension on the ADR. We didn't get that break. It pumped, and then we got the reversal alert there. So that would have been your initial entry. Unlikely you would have taken a second entry on that one. That got into profit this morning, and now we're back to where we started. So there's no entry, no real movement on the pound Swiss apart from that dump there. Euro Swiss is nicely extended on the hourly. The pound Swiss isn't. So I would love to short the Euro Swiss, but as I said yesterday, this is what worries me, and this is where I think we're going. We did get the break of the highs yesterday, so we're on our way up here. Where we're going to stall in here is difficult. So this is where I would be looking. We are extended on the hourly. So this is where I would be looking today if we get an ADR hit to the upside, to potentially put a short in. If the rates come out as expected on the euro, I suspect we will probably get a move down. But again, at the moment, it's very difficult to tell what is going on with the euro. It's got a little bit of strength in it, which is difficult to call whether or not the news is and the market is going to factor in a move to the downside on a rate announcement coming out as expected. I would expect it will do. And if we can get up to these sorts of levels, what I would love to see is a spike on the announcement to take that liquidity and then dump. So Euro Swiss is nicely extended on the hourly. It's extended on the 4 hourly, which we'll have a look at in a minute as well. So it's looking good to start building a position, but at the moment it's not showing any signs of weakness. So I'd be looking probably M15 for a reversal. It's actually pretty much the same level, M5 and M15, to start getting into shorts. But ideally what I want to see this do today is get up into ADR extensions. That would be a good area to start getting short on it, I think. So a little bit more extension on the hourly. Euro yen, same thing. Don't want to be getting in front of that in a minute. Pound US dollar, really nice extension to the downside, we've just taken out the liquidity here. We've just filled this previous gap completely. We've retested this area multiple times, and now we've completed it. Nice extension to the downside, but the trade was kind of up here. This was what we wanted. We were waiting for the US dollar strength to come through. We still haven't really got that US dollar strength in any shape or form, but we have obviously got a weak pound at the minute as well. So more shorts than longs, so not really interested in that one. New Zealand dollar CAD. New Zealand dollar should continue to come down against the Canadian dollar. We'll probably get a pullback, so this is not a bad area to start looking for a pullback, but I'd much rather be getting in short up there. Somewhere up there, looking for the next leg down, just continuing that Canadian dollar strength. US dollar Swiss, massively extended at the moment on the back of the Swiss franc weakness. If you look at the Swissies, obviously everything against the Swiss franc is gaining at the moment. US dollar Swiss gaining more. Don't want to get in the way of this one at the minute either. And same with the US dollar yen. Don't want to get in the way of that, because we're looking for the US dollar yen to get up to 135. We're not actually far away from it now, are we? We're 2 ADR away. So when we do get up to this 135 level, if we get there, I'm pretty sure we will, hopefully we'll still be extended. At that point, I think we will get some intervention from the Bank of Japan. But how much intervention it will be, difficult to tell. But I think we will see a little bit of strength coming. But this thing could take, if you look at 2 ADR, looking at this move, for example, from this low here back up to there, that was around about 3 ADR. So you're easily looking at maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of movement to get up to there. So this week, potentially. If we can get up to there by Friday, when we've got CPI, that could be where we get our move starting. So keeping a close eye on it at the minute. I don't want to long it, because I hate longing stuff that's already massively extended, because you're kind of longing to something that should really be starting to pull back, but you've missed all of this move so far. You're kind of getting in at the end of the move for that amount. If you're going to use a stop on it, absolutely fine. Look at getting in. Right, I mean, is that bullish or bearish? Yeah, hit the buy button now. Yeah, this is not going down, is it? We've tried 4 times now in the last hour to go south on this. They're not interested. It's a long. So get in now, right now on this US dollar yen. Stop under there. It will work or it won't work. I'm not sure on lot size on this, but yeah, I'm not going to take it myself. But yeah, long. Looks lovely, doesn't it, US dollar yen? But we are obviously very extended on the hourly and very extended on the 4 hourly. Absolutely shot on the 4 hourly. Look, we're up to 86, 87. So I think this is going to pull back before next leg. But what we're seeing is very, very small flags, aren't we? 1 bar pullbacks on the 4 hour chart. Tiny little flags, big push, tiny little flag. So, don't want to be taking mean reversion trades on that at the minute at all. Oops. 4 hours. Lit up like a Christmas tree at the moment. Just see what's going on with the DAX. Awful. Look at it. Should have bought that low up. Missed it now. Never mind. Bit of bullish price action coming in. It's not. I'm toying with the idea of taking a 300 point, 30 point stop on this as a long. Reason being, this is actually price action, proper price action we've got now. We've got a bullish engulfing. So this is kind of, they are definitely buying up these lows, as we know. Every time we've pushed down to these lows, they're buying them up. I'm just not seeing any continued momentum to give me any confidence that there's enough buyers in the market right now to start a move. It's like we're waiting for something. Hopefully we're not waiting for the Euro announcement on Thursday, because it's going to be a long old week. But see, we've not got any power. Dead as a door now. If we can pull back down into here, I might try a fairly aggressive long from down here, if we can get back down here in this area again. The stream is very trippy on painkillers. Getting the brain kickstart I needed. You're on too many painkillers, Franco. I'm almost tempted to try a swing here. The trouble is, as we've had pointed out, we've got a gap short, we've got a gap long. Where do you not want to trade from? The middle. Okay, I'm going buy. We've got 1.5 minutes on this candle. I got a bit of slippage there, but tough. We are getting some decent buying coming through. It's getting stronger. If you look at the FTSE. FTSE's actually doing okay at the moment this morning. We had this big opening range on the FTSE was a lot more bullish. They pulled straight back down into the gap and got bought up. Unfortunately, we don't get FTSE data on tick strike, which is annoying, but this is getting bought up a lot more. The FTSE and the DAX quite often will move in sync with each other. Obviously, these are the UK and the German markets, whereas the ES and the NQ are obviously the US markets. So those two move very much in tandem, as does the DAX and the FTSE. So we are a lot more bullish on the FTSE, but we are struggling, as the DAX is, to make any headway at all at the moment. But it's more bullish than bearish. It's just obviously been so whippy this morning. Wider stops, but again, going back to what I was saying this morning, hindsight, everyone would be going, oh yeah, if you used a stop below the low, you would only been stopped out in one position. In hindsight, yes, but then the wider the stop you use, the less money you make. My goal is to try and get 1.5% banked as fast as possible. I'm not interested in being right, I'm interested in banking money. I can be right. I could put a stop under the lows of the pre-market session and have taken one trade this morning and still be right, still be in that trade. But the stop on that would mean that I've got to get all the way up there to make 0.25%. That's a long way to go for a very little reward, and a long time to sit through a trade for very little reward. That's a swing. It's not what I'm interested in doing here. I'm interested in getting in and getting out fast. But to get in and get out fast, you need the market to be moving. And it's not. So this is kind of swingy territory at the moment. But you can't take a swing. Well, you can take a swing, obviously, but you can't take a swing from the middle. You take a swing from a low or a high. You don't take a swing from the centre, obviously. And we don't know where we're going. The market has no clue. So I will sit there and be clueless with it. smack in the middle of the opening range. Yeah, it's just we struggle. We just can't get out the opening range. The fact that we've rejected the opening range low gives me more confidence to be long, because the market's definitely not interested in going short at the moment. It's much more interested in defending and adding to long positions, but there's just no bias. No one's coming in. We've got no movement. Anyway, we'll keep an eye. So the 4 hours, obviously we'll start at the bottom because that's where we are. US dollar yen. Massive extension. We're up to 85, almost up to 90. When we get to this level, I'm like all over it usually. But I do not want to get all over anything against the yen at the moment. Standing in front of a moving train is not my idea of fun, and this is not stopping. So from a scalping perspective, and again this is why I've got the daily RSIs on there. From a scalping perspective, very short term mean reversion trades are probably going to work because the market is going to want to be profit taking on this move. So going down into lower time frames, you're going to get a lot of these fast drops, which are just the pullbacks where people are adding into their long positions. Which is what we're seeing on the DAX at the moment. But from a mean reversion perspective and a position, I don't want to be shorting this at the moment. So again, far too extended for me to get in long. Can't really get in short on it. US dollar Swiss, again, as I said yesterday, the long was the 72 bounce. Well and truly missed it down here. This is where the entry started here, scaling in, and it's nicely in profit now, looking for a move back up into these propulsions. Look at that, I couldn't believe it. Every time, it's one of those days, isn't it? Every time you hit the button, it goes, actually, I'm going the other way. Yeah. Yesterday, I hit the button every time I was right. Today, I've hit the button 80% of the time I'm wrong. Swings and roundabouts. So accumulation, drop, accumulation, drop. So we're looking for these areas to be pushed back up into. One of these is going to act as a resistance. The Swiss franc is starting to come back to life. So when the Swiss franc is trading normally, we get this nice movement, nice profit takes, big strong moves by the Swissy, weakening off the US taking control, etc., etc. When the Swiss franc is not being manipulated, which we've seen through the Ukraine conflict, it basically is whatever the US dollar is doing, the US dollar Swiss is going to do. We're expecting the US dollar to power up. The Swiss franc has been weak, therefore we've had a big move, and as I'm expecting the US dollar to power up, I don't want to be shorting this. So a difficult one to short. If we get a nice pullback, it's a good long opportunity. So looking basically for pullback long opportunities on it. Again, it's like the yens at the minute. Where do you get in? It's very hard to try and find somewhere to get in. You kind of need, this is kind of an end of day scenario at the moment. You basically just get in at the end of the day and take some drawdown and wait for it to push back up. If you look at it, all we're getting is a push at some point and then an accumulation, a push and accumulation. Yeah, we're any kind of pullback really. Look for long opportunities, especially if we get an ADR. If we were to get an ADR short on this, I'd be looking to long that. But again, at the moment, extended to the upside on the 4 hour, not something I really want to be taking. It probably will have a little bit of a reaction here. People will be seeing that, looking for a double top. And again, M5, nice little short scalp, but not quite sure how far it's going to come down before we get that push back up again. Euro New Zealand's hit ADR. Yeah, I'm going to get a lovely short. I just don't want to get into anything. I can't take anything ahead of the rate announcement. It's too close. But yeah, that's a lovely looking short opportunity. pull back into resistance. We didn't support resistance, previous resistance. We didn't challenge that, so we've got a good opportunity to come back and retest that before it pumps if it's going to. So nice little short opportunity there, nicely extended on M15. So yeah, nice little short opportunity on Euro New Zealand. New Zealand dollar yen, same thing, 4 hourly extended. Not really interested. Lovely bearish engulfing going in at the moment on the New Zealand. New Zealand is weak. We've got a weakening Aussie a little bit by the looks of things. Not too much. It's more New Zealand weakening. So yeah, New Zealand dollar yen, again, I don't really want to be shorting this. Much rather wait for it to get down to there and then look to buy. Just see what's going on with my DAX. Not going anywhere. I'm just trying to find an opportunity to get a buy above the high of this candle here, this wick. I just want to add there. I get the feeling when you get sessions like this, at some point it goes. You're going to get this sort of boom. You're going to get 15-20 minutes where it's just going to go. If you're not in it ready for when that happens, you miss it. So I'm just trying to build this long to get a couple of positions, because when we do get that massive flurry of buyers, hopefully, and obviously inverse if you want to go short on it, that flurry of sellers, you need to be built into a position ready to take advantage of that when it happens. But I just want to put another buy stop on. We've got 1.5 minutes on this candle. I'll come back in 1.5 minutes. So yeah, New Zealand dollar yen, lovely bearish engulfing coming in at the moment, but again, I'll be looking for buys on this, but nicely pulling back, so I don't think it's going to go very far. New Zealand dollar CAD extended to the downside, don't want to be trading against the CAD at the moment, so I think we're going to come back down and re-challenge these lows. That I would be interested in taking along, because we'll be nicely extended down there. We will get a double bottom bounce. How far it will bounce, whether it be that or whether we get a decent pullback before the next leg, don't know, but this is where I'd start to get interested. So if we get any ADR hits to the downside, that would be worth building a position out of. Pound yen, same thing as all yens, can't get in the way of this at the moment. No matter how weak the pound's going to be, it's not going to be as weak as the yen at the minute. So yeah, when we get to these highs on these yen pairs, they're worth watching for shorts. If we can get, what the ideal scenario would be to get a continued push. Oh, come on, indices. Get a continued push all the way up so that we're really nicely extended. We've had nothing but buyers. When they get to this double top, and there will be limit orders sitting here ready to go, that snowball effect will start as they see price coming off the highs. The people that have bought here will start to sell, take profit on their positions, and we'll get that move back down. How far it will come back down is again difficult to tell, but that is where I would be interested if we can get up to these highs, these recent highs. So a bit of a sell off there. So adding one on a break of that high. Assuming we can get it. So yeah, New Zealand, pound yen, obviously nice extended. Euro yen, same thing. Massive extensions on these, just don't want to short them. So again, waiting for some kind of pullback. Again, when you've got something this strong, this week rather in the yen, and everything's pushing hard against it, we're looking for ADR hits to the low to build longs. Yeah. So all the time this is extended, it's a beautiful extension, and most of the time pre-war I'd be jumping in, pre-COVID, pre-everything. The markets are just not as they used to be at the minute. But right now, do not want to be trying mean reversion in this strength of movement against these yen pairs. So nicely extended, extended on the daily as well. So at some point when you get extended on the daily chart, at some point you're going to get a move in the opposite direction. But this is what we're looking for. This is why I've got this daily on here, potentially looking for opportunities to scalp lower time frames. So when we're extended on the daily, you're going to get these pullbacks, but they're only going to be pullbacks. So I would be expecting definitely a pullback on this, but maybe a day or two, maybe just one big day, and then a continuation. But this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days on the trot up, without a breather, without a profit take. It's going to come down at some point, and you get the climbing up the stairs, falling down the elevator shaft scenario, which is the profit take move. Timing that is very, very hard, but 9 days solid up, you've got to be expecting to start a profit take move at some point soon. But it's a very, very risky trade to short it, I think, at the minute, especially with the rate announcement. Euro Swiss we've covered, looking for a pullback, return to source up here. So if we get ADR hits to the upside, nice mean reversion. Bear in mind you're getting into a trade. If you're going to get in with a stop loss and looking for just a quick scalp short, brilliant. If you're starting a position, bear in mind you're starting a position 2 days ahead of the euro rate announcement. You could well get sucked if they decide to do a rate change. You could get sucked into a bad position, but I don't think so. I think we're going to see some euro weakness coming through. All the others are yens as well. Swiss yen, same scenario. CAD yen, same scenario. CAD massively strong. Do not want to be getting in front of that one at the minute. CAD Swiss, same thing. We've got a weak Swiss franc. We've got a strong Canadian dollar. This is coming up into a nice area here. I can't see anybody defending their shorts. This is a profit take move. The difference between a profit take move, you can see this is clearly a profit take. Yeah, climbing up the stairs, dropping down the elevator shaft. This is the profit take move. This is what we're looking for in a bullish currency, an RSI extension to the downside to start building those longs. Not to try and mean revert something that is like a steam train at the moment. So CAD Swiss, again, wrong side. Aussie New Zealand, big strong push obviously on this. Difficult to tell what this is doing at the moment on the back of the news. Aussie New Zealand I would expect to power up. Again, you can't get into it, which is why I said yesterday you need to be in your Aussies ahead of the news and wait for that move to start. And those that were in Aussie dollar longs already, you've benefited massively from that. So if you needed to be in these yesterday, same with the Aussie yen. So Aussie yen, we've just rejected these highs, so likely a little bit of a pullback, so you've got an opportunity to get into the next leg on that. So that's everything that's moving at the moment. If only the DAX was. So DAX has just gathered me up into my second long, so we pushed up, got me in on the spread to a second position, and we've stalled again. Anybody got any other pairs they want to have a look at? Let's have a look at gold. What's going on with gold? I haven't looked at it in detail for a while. Oops. So gold, we were looking, I haven't got my levels drawn in on this. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So we've got this accumulation, these two accumulations on gold that we were looking at. we bounced nicely out, and I said we should be looking for long opportunities out of here, but equally, this area for gold is where the market is happy to transact gold. This is where the market is, this is a fair price at the moment for gold. We had the spike and then the retracement off of the back of the Ukraine conflict. Since then, the market has corrected itself back down again. So I think we're still looking longs on gold, but not long term. So I think really with gold, all you can do is just play around on RSI extensions. You're pretty safe, I think. Sorry, my dog groomer has just turned up to take my dog away to have her hair cut. She gets very excited about the dog groomer. So getting into longs when we're extended on the RSI, getting into shorts when we're extended to the upside. I think you're pretty safe with that at the moment because the market has no interest in pushing gold in any direction. So any kind of movement that you get, you can just start to position yourself into shorts or longs. Long term, very difficult to say which way it's going. Typically we'll get driven by US dollar. We're expecting US dollar strength, which means we should be seeing some weakness in gold. But the US dollar is really indecisive at the moment. There is no strong pushes on the US dollar, and it's taking its sweet time to actually do anything when it does move. And then we get these flurries for days where we get a bit of strength, and then it just all calms down again, which gives all the other instruments time to push it around. So gold, I would be just using RSI and trying to get into positions on it, short and long when we get into extensions. But this is where I think we are going to be, and this is where I think we will stay. I think we'll be in a very uneven, choppy range, and this is partly why I don't trade this thing, because it's so difficult. Where's my? It's so difficult to play range trades on gold because it doesn't respect. It respects a range, but very broadly. It's not very organised. So as you see price extending and pushing, you can look to short or long, but I think we're going to go into an uneven range now where we are. That's the most logical thing for it to do, and it's what it seems to be doing over the last couple of weeks. This fair value area that we've had previously, I think we're just going to hover around up the top of that somewhere. Bit of selling coming on the DAX after that big flurry we just had. Didn't get us anywhere. Load of buying just came in. All got absorbed. This is a choppy day today. What am I down so far? Oh, all yesterday's gains gone so far. Again, hindsight, what we should have been doing today is trading M1. But you don't know that until it's happened. Which is, you see all these strategies that people play out, which is absolutely brilliant in hindsight. And what I should have been doing today is just buying the lows. I should have only taken 2 trades buying the lows today. Brilliant. How do you know you're going to get a chop session? You don't until the chop session has played out. And now we're going to go, right, next time I get down to these lows, I'm going to buy them. That is when the breakout's going to happen. Hour and a half into the session. And then your strategy doesn't work, which is why I kind of said, you can't pick a strategy. You can't teach a strategy in scalping. You can show what happens, and it's a case of get in when that happens and hope that that is what's going to happen. I hope that current market structure is going to hold. But that's all I have, I hope. It's the best I can do at the minute. It's the best anyone can do when you're basically trading the chop. This is why I've been so anti-scalping. Because you are literally gambling. Because you're playing the chop, you're playing the algorithms, you're playing the bots, which are trading for the banks. And you are trying to guesstimate what they are doing by looking at where they are buying up and where they are selling off. But it doesn't always work, does it? This is the thing. So it's, when you're trading higher time frames, you're seeing proper market structure playing out. The market structure shifts constantly on these low time frames. Pound US dollar and pound Swiss. Ooh, both at the same time. Big strong push on the pound up to ADR. And the pound Swiss. Big strong move today on the pound to the upside. Market obviously likes the fact that Boris is staying in power. Not the rest of us do, necessarily. So nice ADR short. I'm not quite sure. 48. Just try a quick short on this. Yeah, okay. So just taking a quick short scalp there. It's only a little position. More of a swing, assuming that basically we've just basically taken out today's high. So I'm looking basically for them to now move back down again and start that short run. So tight stop, high reward, looking to target the lows, and obviously beyond really, but that's what I'm looking at playing out. And again, sorry, just to go back, that's the bit I forgot to say. I was trying to think when I was talking about that person that's contacted me in Telegram and explaining a scalping strategy. The best explanation I think I can come up with on scalping is that you have to be a mind reader, in the fact that your job when you hit the button is visualizing where it's going to go on the chart. Yeah, so when it gets down to here, right, if it gets down to here and I decide to take a long, I'm going to be visualizing them trading back up into this area. Yeah, so rather, and the difference between this kind of predictive style trading and price action trading is normally with price action trading, you're waiting for a signal. So you're waiting for a doji followed by a bearish engulfing, and you get in, yeah, and your stop goes up there. So you're waiting for a confirmation of price action. Yeah, so this pattern having played out, completed, the candle closed, and you're like, right, now I'm going to get in short. The problem is your stop is very wide. The predictive is I'm expecting this to get down to here, and I'm going to hit the buy button right here. I'm not waiting for a confirmation. I'm expecting the market to buy up this level because it's bought it up 3 times now down here. 4 times if you include that. So we know they're buying up down here. Why they're buying up, we don't know. We don't know if they'll continue to. But my stop on this can be tiny. If I'm right, I can add into the position and expect it to get back up to there. So you're not waiting for price action. So, you know, this is kind of like the limit trading. You set in limit orders in the market, expecting them to come up and touch that level and then jump out. A little bit like I've just done on that pound. Yeah. So I haven't waited for this candle to close. I've got in because I've seen them do something. I've got no confirmation. A confirmation trader will wait now for a bearish engulfing and they will enter there. That is quite a big difference, isn't it? By the time that person has entered that trade, I've moved my stop to break even. I've got no risk. So again, that when you're trying to explain what I'm doing, what did I do to make the money I made yesterday? I just got in and got out. Literally, there is no plan apart from seeing clues in the market and actually seeing what the market is doing. Those are the only two things that I'm using. So Trev wanted to see GU. So yeah, GU, there we go. We were looking at GU. But long-term, pound is a short. Waiting for that US dollar strength to come through. We're in the 24.72 zone, which is where you want to be looking to sell if we're going to continue on our trend. You've got much more chance of a trend continuing than you have of a mean reversion trade coming in when you're in a trend. Obviously, you never know when a trend is going to start, and you never know when a trend is going to end. But fundamentals are, at the moment, like that. So you would expect this to be short. So I'll be looking for short opportunities on it. Target, obviously, again, the predictive part of my brain is saying I would expect them to try and double bottom, come and retest, see what happens. So you can't explain what goes on in a brain in a nanosecond. All you've learned, flash through the brain, and then the monkey presses the button. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, it's as good as any explanation of scalping strategy. Easy full margin short on pound US dollar. Yeah, we can go for it. Take another one. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. I wouldn't go full margin Proster now. I will certainly add to it though, if we get some decent selling start. But yeah, scalping is very a feelings strategy, I think. And the problem is everybody, when they start trading, obviously they want to make money fast. Everybody's like, I need to get in, get out, make some quick money. That's just, and unfortunately everybody starts on low time frames like M5 and M1, and those literally people are trying to put a strategy into chaos. You're trying to organize chaos. This is chaos. And as you can see, you cannot organize chaos. It just doesn't work. Trying to control the uncontrollable. But I'm one trade away from a very nice profitable morning. Just waiting for the market to put its finger out. A minute. Intuitive, that's the word I was looking for, Diamond. And that's why I keep saying you need to sit in front of charts for hundreds, thousands of hours and know what to do in situations like this, and accept that you're going to have days where you just get chopped to bits. You just got to sit through them. The good traders are the ones that don't go full tilt and just accept, yeah, there's not a good day. The ones that then start piling in to 1% on their next positions and get it right, those are the lucky ones. The ones that get it wrong, those are the ones that reset their evaluations. Just gathered up into a second short on the pound US dollar. Yeah, see, commission, you get charged commission on FX trades, no commission on indices. It's only small, $6, which in the grand scheme of things is nothing, obviously, is it? But it's difficult to trade FX at the minute. As I say, I'm looking for short movements out as fast as possible, really, on anything FX. You're Franco. Have a good one. So last hour, literally painted a spinning top. Prophecy. I'm now so free that I resubscribed to the gym, and you're free for trading because you just graduated. Oh, now the real work starts. Enjoy it. If you haven't got a big job or a full-time job, best thing you can do is spend all day watching this. And next time this happens, you will know that at some point we're going to get that happen over the next 15 to 20 minutes, and you need to make sure that you've got a direction on. The more times you sit through this, you know what's coming. That's how you get yourself out of these positions, waiting for the moves to start. It's going to happen. After every accumulation comes a move. Just gotta wait. Gotta sit and wait. God, high school, that was a long way away, that was. FTSE's stuck as well, so we are literally still stuck in the opening range. Let's have a quick look at what the US indices are up to. Very similar. A little bit more positive movement on the US indices. Not a massive amount though. Beautiful double top on the S&P just playing out. Uh, 12 years, then 4 years in college, so I can work 8 to 10 hours a day to make $3,000 a month. I feel trading is much better. Yeah. It's a difficult thing to do though. That's the trouble. It's easy to get a job. Yeah, if you're working for the man, you are going to be limited to what you can earn. That's the trouble. If you're working for yourself, you need to get hold of a shared load of capital. So decent rejection over the last 15 minutes of the opening range low. So we're definitely holding this level. It's cost me $1,600 to find that out. Think of it as an investment. Cost of doing business. Okay, I've got 2.5 minutes left on this candle. I'm toying with the idea of, which I shouldn't really do, adding one more position onto this with a very, very small risk under here. Just as a kind of additional, if we are going to get the move starting shortly, just as an additional sort of buffer to get me into profit faster on it. I'm just waiting to see what happens on this candle, and then I might try a buy order above there just to get in one more. But reduced risk, obviously. I'm not going to put full 0.25% on it. I'm going to reduce it down to 0.1.5 or something. Yeah, nice spamming. What should we class him as? Pornography. There we go. Bye-bye. Okay, 50 seconds left. Just to see where this candle closes. Real low liquidity at the moment. You can see the candle's jumping all over the place at the moment. Just jumped down there in one move, one order. Just no liquidity in the market at all. I want Peter. I want to be a full-time trader. I practice to FTMO at the moment. Large family. Yeah. Trading's not the sort of job you can just pick up. You've got to work at it for many years. Bit of selling starting to come through. Did that get rid of him? No, it didn't. Let's remove the idiot. Okay, so I'm adding a buy stop just above these highs, but I'm going to reduce the risk on that one right down. So it's 0.1% really, just over. So I'm just waiting basically anticipating my trade being right and us going for the high gap fill first. If that is going to happen, when it happens, hopefully it's going to be a fast move with some liquidity and we're going to get that big move. So I want to add in, if it's going to continue to chop around, I'm going to get out of that additional position with a tiny loss, basically. So it's a calculated risk. Just trying to build it so that we can get some movement. I've been 1.5 years in this journey. I feel like isn't enough. No, I mean it took me over 5 years to become profitable. To become break even, really, not profitable. But it depends how many hours you put into it. Yeah, if I'd have been working full time learning to trade, I'd have it mastered in a year and a half, no problem. Not mastered, but have know what's going on. But the problem is, everybody that learns to trade is doing it maybe 1 to 2 hours a day, if they've even got that amount of time. If at bare minimum you need 1,000 hours, bare minimum, in the charts, watching the charts, I think. But most people don't want to hear that. They want an indicator that paints on the chart and tells them when to press a button, which is obviously part of it. Indicators play a big part, but knowing which of the arrows to take is the key, and realizing that you don't actually know that is the key, which is the impossible bit. People say, like, trend lines, support and resistance doesn't work, because every time I show somebody a support and resistance on a chart, yeah, they will, let's say this trade works out and I post this chart and go, look at this trade, wasn't that amazing? Somebody will post 1,000 times where that didn't work. Yeah. And that's right, yeah. But risk reward tells me that this is a good trade to get into. I have no idea if this is going to play out or not. No clue. If it doesn't play out, I'll lose that amount. If it does play out, I'll win that amount. And as soon as you realise you've got no control over whether one of those things is going to happen when you press the button, that's when it will start to. That's when it started to click for me, anyway. Check the Telegram. God, I love trend lines. What chart is that? Is that pound US dollar? I can't see what chart it is or what time frame it is. I think you've drawn it from there, haven't you? Yeah, but it didn't work, did it? Your trend line didn't work. If your trend line had worked, it would have done that. But your trend line is drawn completely different to my trend line. See, a lot of people will have a trend line drawn there, and they will say that that worked. Yeah, at some point it's always going to turn. Isn't it? This is the thing. Trend lines, and the reason I don't use trend lines is because you give 10 people this chart and tell them to draw a trend line on it. You'll get 10 different trend lines. Someone is sitting there right now waiting for price to push up to there. Yeah, are they right? Are they wrong? No idea. No one's got a clue. Doesn't matter, does it? Get in, get out. If you think that is where you should be waiting. That's where you're getting. The trend line that you've drawn could well be right. But the trend line has got nothing to do with whether or not price is going to turn there. It's the guys executing $100,000 worth of orders in the next 10 minutes that are going to decide whether or not that trade's going to work. About to get gathered up into third position. Let's see if we can get a sustained rally off the back of this buying. So I'm not poo-pooing trend lines. I use trend lines for many, many years, and I use them very, very well. But a lot of the times they didn't work. So yeah, if you find them useful, use them. It's a reason to get into a trade. Like I said in my video about strategy, you know, it's a confluence of stuff. Yeah. And what confluences you pick to press that button or that button, it's entirely up to you. You have exactly the same chance of being right when you press that button as I do. It's 50-50. Yeah, like Peter's just said, EMAs. Yeah, use an EMA if you want to. But you know, so you'll soon you soon realise that every indicator lags. There is no indicator that tells you where the market's going. There is only an indicator that shows you where it's been. Market structure. You know, my indicator. You know, look at that. Entry there, stop there. Beautiful trade. That worked. The next one won't. Market structure works sometimes. Market structure fails other times. EMA bounces work sometimes. They fail other times. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure if you went back in time, you would come out with something around that. You know, I could take this right now and hit that button. What are my odds of that working right now? What are the odds of that trade being profitable? It's 50-50, isn't it? It's going to go up or it's going to go down. If it goes down, as I've just done, I will either make $530 or I will lose $170. I don't know whether it's going to go up or down. I haven't got a clue. But what I do know is, if I'm right, I'm going to make more than I'm going to lose. And I don't care. Looks bearish to me. In fact, that would be where I would get in after we've actually had a confirmation of structure break. So I'll add one there. I just picked a pair at random there and hit a button. Yeah. And there's nothing that told me there. There's no EMA that told me I should be doing that. There's no line that's told me I should be doing that. If I want to pick this trade apart now, that's the reason I'm taking this trade. I'm not taking this trade because of that, but that is the reason I'm taking the trade, because we've had a rejection at resistance. Yeah. But the guy sitting next to me is waiting for it to go up to there before he takes his short, because he's waiting for a triple top resistance bounce, which was a previous accumulation. It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter where you hit the button or when you hit the button. What matters is that you make sure that is bigger than that. And as long as you can get that happening more than 50% of the time, your P&L will be profitable. That's literally the only thing that is important. Follow the process of whatever system you make and keep following the process. now I'm profitable on my EuroCAD. No, I'm not. We'll watch that and see what happens. Didn't get the reversal alert on it yet. Still got 3 minutes left, but probably going to get a reversal alert here by the looks of things, which is basically good bearish momentum. Nice wicks to the upside. See, now I'm analysing this chart. Looks like a nice sell, doesn't it? Yeah, lots of projection to the upside. Asian high. London's taking out the Asian high. We've got a bearish engulfing. We're just getting a reverse alert, market structure shift. 3 minutes left. If we get the reverse alert here, good reasons to take a short. I've just added to it. But then again, the guy next to me will be sitting there going, "You're mad. You're selling straight into support. Why on earth would you sell into support?" He might be right. He might be wrong. I don't know. But the guy that is going to buy here, because it is a support bounce, he's got his stop there, his entry there, and his TP, I don't know, let's say there. As long as his risk reward is positive, brilliant. And the guy that is taking that trade could well see price move up to there, take his profit, make a profit, and then price will collapse back down to here, and I will make a profit. Who was right and who was wrong in that situation? Both of us. Doesn't matter, does it? You hit the button, you get in, you get out. It's really that simple. I'm either going to lose 0.7 to 1% here, or it's going to hold these lows and fly off and make me 3% today. I have no idea. I just got to sit here and wait and see what happens. You're a sugar daddy to me, just giving away trades. It's to say that everything in life we do, isn't it? As human beings, we overcomplicate it. When we see something that works, we try to improve it, to make it better. And the more, cars, yeah. We had old cars in the old days with a little combustion engine and a steering wheel and a gear lever. What did we do? We added computers to it. We added all sorts of stuff. We added turbochargers, superchargers. We added this, that, and the other. Cars go wrong all the time because there's 1,000 moving parts. The cars in the old days, they just went from A to B and they worked. If something broke on it, it was a very simple fix. Nowadays, you need a computer to plug into the computer that makes the car work. Overcomplicated. At the end of the day, it goes from A to B. Exactly what price does. It goes from A to B, or A to B. I have no idea. And there's nothing I can put on this chart that's going to tell me what's going to happen in the next hour. Nothing. The guy in Barclays is in charge of my fate at the moment. Uh, 33 seconds left. Reverse alert just going in on EuroCAD short. Now that we're looking at EuroCAD short, obviously. I wasn't looking at it a minute ago, but I am now. Nice looking short. Reverse alert. So either looking for that to do that or that. I'll take one off down here. Can't even trade this on 1 minute though. you can see the algos, literally. You can see exactly what they're doing, can't you? They're just sitting here, buying up the lows, driving price up, getting out, driving price back down again, buying it up. But they are buying this level up, which, you know, this is what gives me a little bit more confidence in this. Again, it's just confluence of stuff that looks bullish. They're buying the hell out of this level. They're selling this level. There's more buying than selling. Eventually we're going to break this, and then we're going to break that, and then we're going to break that. Then we're going to get stuck. Or we're going to break that, and then we're going to break that, and we're going to do that. Pick a button. We've got no news tomorrow, just be aware. Obviously we've got CAD this afternoon, 3 o'clock. So PMI for the CAD doesn't do as much as most other instruments, most other pairs, so we should get some decent movement off of it, but probably only going to be a kind of whipsaw-y thing. Market doesn't seem to have any urgency to go anywhere today. But hopefully we get a positive move off of the CAD PMI this afternoon, which will drive this down, which would be nice. I made $150 out of pound US dollar. Nice one. What am I up on that? 335 at the moment. Look at this thing. Oh, here we go. So let's taken out of that third long. So breaking short. So we'll see if they buy up these lows again. And again, looking at the 1 minute chart, this is a, if we tick back up to there, this is a great little risk reward trade. Stop under there. If we push back up again, that's a lovely little risk reward, isn't it? On the 1 minute chart. Assuming we're just going to continually buy these lows up. Stopped out at the second. So I got one long still. We got CAD news this afternoon. So this Euro CAD that I've just taken completely at random. I'm going to, you might as well go for the home run on it. So if we're going to get the CAD strength, I may as well just go for these lows, which is where we're going to get the next reaction short. So might as well just take that off down there. That's going to be what, just about £1,000 profit, if that works out. The pound US dollar, I've got those two positions on, just targeting low of this candle, which is ADR low today. US dollar, we've not really got a lot of strength on at present. But that's, oh, where's another TP? So that's $1,700 on that one. Stopped out of all the DAX. Not a good morning this morning. Down 2.2 this morning. Got 0.4 in there though, so hopefully these FX trades will pan out. But I'm just going to wait until this afternoon. Horrible morning. Choppy as you like. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the DAX for the moment. I'm just going to listen out for any bullish or bearish price action coming through. I need to see some sustained movement, basically, either buying or selling. I'm going to try, if we get down to the opening range low, the second opening range, the 1.5 hour opening range low. If we get down to there, I'm going to try a buy off of there. Aggressive buy, but with a very tight stop. So looking to get in here and give it, sort of a little bit of room, sort of 3-4 points. So stop out down here somewhere. Because if that trade works, we should look to get back up into this area somewhere. If I can get 0.5% on down here, I can easily get 1.5-2% off at these highs, and it'll only take sort of 15-20 minutes to get there, which will wipe out the morning losses. But I want to see us get down here and see a little bounce off the bottom, basically. So I think it's worth taking sort of a small risk down there. See if we can get some kind of bounce. If it gets down there. But at the moment, there's just nothing happening. I feel like last week in Greece, I spent a lot of time sailing. I've been sailing all my life, but I spent a lot of time sailing cats last week. And where we were in Greece, the wind was so fluky. Sometimes you're sitting there flying along, and all of a sudden it just drops, and you're sitting there for 20 minutes. No wind, nothing moving, and there's nothing you can do but get sunburnt. So you just sit there. And that's exactly what this feels like at the moment. We're just waiting for that gust of wind to come through. We don't know whether it's going to be northerly or southerly, what it's going to be, but we're just waiting for some wind. So at the moment we're just sitting, anticipating which direction it's going to come in. So at the moment I'm anticipating, as a lot of people probably will be, them to buy up the lows, because that's what they've been doing so far today. And if they're going to continue to do it, it's a very high risk reward. In fact, they are looking like they're buying it up here already, but I'd rather get in a little lower, a little bit buying. So that level there, really. So we tapped ever so slightly beyond it, we bounced off of it. So this is the key level, 145.22, which I think is a good buy zone. But if we don't get to it, we won't get to it. I won't get in. Wow. Look at the volume. Remember I trade Germany 30 cash? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's obviously just it's just different broker. What else we got coming up today? Nothing. Okay, bullish. Trying to put a bullish engulfing in at the moment. Yeah, same thing as Germany 40, Germany 30. It's just they've not changed it. Most brokers I'm finding haven't bothered to change it to Germany 40. They just left it as Germany 30. It's a ticker. It's just it's a ticker. It doesn't really matter, does it? It's descriptive of 30 stocks, whereas there's now 40 stocks. But there's probably a technical reason, probably a data reason for them not changing. But most brokers haven't changed. They all still have Germany 30. The clever ones would have called it DAX. But so, like XAU US dollar or XAU euro, well, they are different things. Those are crosses, so that is gold against the US dollar and gold against the euro. But God, we actually gapped there. Did you see that? New Zealand dollar CAD and the Aussie New Zealand on the 4 hour. We've got extensions now, New Zealand CAD and Aussie New Zealand. We're already extended anyway. New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD nicely extended, but say expecting strength on the CAD. Yesterday took it gold sell and made €500. Good job. Whoops, wrong one. So if I want to get funded like 50k, what's the best thing to go with? Because I'm a little confused with the rules and the plant in my Forex funds. The plan, you mean, I think, there. Yeah. So I just seen you were corrected it. Well, you don't have a lot of choice with my Forex funds. You take their 50k evaluation. So basically you have a daily drawdown limit of 5%. So if you're doing a 50k, you can't draw down more than 2.5 grand in a day. I'm on the 100k, so I can draw down 5k in a day. And obviously you got 8% target in month one, in your stage one, and 4% target in stage two. Apart from that, anything goes with my Forex funds. They are very, very relaxed about all other rules. You can trade the news, you can do everything. The only thing they don't allow you to do is arbitrage, which no one will do anyway, because just that doesn't work. But anyway, so yeah, that's it. That's literally it. Obviously, you just got to keep your risk as tight as you can. And it depends whether you want to swing or you want to scalp. You can't really position trade. The problem with all funding is you can't position trade it. So scalping is much better for getting funded, because you only got 5-day rule. So you've got to pass in 5 days, minimum of 5 days, max of 30. And that's really it. But the thing I like about my Forex funds is it's all instant, totally instant. So you hit your target, you close your trade, and as long as you've been trading for 5 days, a button appears in the back end and you hit it and you're on to stage two. Immediately you get your logins. When you pass, as soon as you pass your stage two, you close your final trade out. Within an hour, you'll have a button appear to go into your funded. They'll send you an email, you have a contract, send the contract back, 6 hours later you've got a funded account. Done. They're the most organised company in the world. Oh, by the way, FTMO have scrapped Forex. No, sorry, not FTMO, TopStep have scrapped Forex now. They are no longer a Forex prop firm, futures only. So there's another one dropped, Forex, and just going into futures. Thinking about my Forex funds taking the acceleration plan where there's no evaluation. Yeah, so if you go with the accelerated plan on my Forex funds, then yeah, you don't have an evaluation period, but you're basically paying for your drawdown. Just taking along. Small risk. I'm going to give it a little bit of breathing room, give it $150. So I'm just going to see if we're going to buy up these lows. Totally preemptive assumption that we're going to repeat what we've done for the last 3 times. Either we will or we won't. One or the other. So yeah, so basically you've got 2.5, it costs you 2.5k basically, doesn't it? So there we go. So you've got evaluation, where you're doing evaluation. Accelerated, you're basically buying your drawdown. So their website is so slow. So it costs you. You can only go to 50k unless you go with. No, it is only 50k now. So it costs you 2.5 grand, and you've got a 5% drawdown. So basically, they give you a 50k account. You can't draw down more than 2.5k. You're giving them 2.5k. So basically, it's a completely risk-free account for them. So they fund you, you give them $2.5 grand. If you blow the account by going into $2.5 grand drawdown, they lose $50. Yeah. So yeah, that's the difference. Your leverage is smaller as well. Not that it makes any difference if you're using a stop, but no daily drawdown limits is just 5% of your account balance is your drawdown. So that's the difference between the accelerated and obviously on the funded, the normal evaluation. It obviously costs you way less. So 50k account is only going to cost you $300. But you've still got that 2.5k daily until you've passed, basically. So yeah, but it only costs you $300. It costs you 10%. So if you were to do this 10 times and then pass, it's exactly the same as if you'd paid them pretty much to buy an account straight away. So it depends how good you are at passing your valuations, doesn't it? At the end of the day. So they are pushing down. They're not buying up the lows by the moment. So going to stop out on this by the looks of things. We'll see. We may go bullish out of here, but they've gone way lower than these lows. So what we'd normally find is limit orders sitting down here, ready to buy up. The limit orders have failed. We've actually closed below this low. So we might find buyers start to trickle in now, but it looks to me like we're selling. There's a load of sellers coming in over here. So, again, 50-50 shot, isn't it? They are either going to, when you think about it, they're either going to buy up these lows or they're not going to buy up these lows. My odds are 50-50. I mean, New Zealand dollar, US dollar going down nicely. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, a bit stuck. Everything's stuck. Everything's just stuck today. But if they are accelerating your buying selling power, that means that percent's growing, so profit sharing growing. It means that is a good point. Yeah, but if I would argue, if you've got $3,000 or $2,500 to spend on an evaluation, why are you not funding your own account and growing that? That's my. These things are great. It cost me $300, yeah, to see if I can become a trader. Do you want to pay $2.5 grand to see if you can become a trader, or would you rather pay $300 to see if you can be a trader? Yeah, this takes 10 days to get this funding. So what you're saying, or what people that are doing the accelerated ones is I'm so impatient, I can't wait 10 days to get 50k. I want to buy it now. I want to pay 10 times more to buy it now because I can't wait 10 days. If you can't wait 10 days, you haven't got the patience to wait 10 days. Do you think you've got the patience to be a trader? I would say probably not. I've been trading 13 years. I would never buy an account. I would always go through an evaluation because I don't know whether the market's going to be nice or nasty to me. It's been nasty to me today. What if it's going to be nasty to me tomorrow and the day after that? What have I lost? $500. What I could have lost was $2,500. To me, I'd much rather lose $500 than 2.5k. The one thing you need in this game is patience, and more patience than a saint. Seriously, if you haven't got patience, you cannot trade. If you haven't got patience to sit through 10 days of evaluation and prove to yourself and to them that you can actually do this thing, back to demo. This is a demo, basically. This is a demo. I'm on a demo account. This is a demo. This is a 100k demo. But in 10 days' time, it'll be 100k of real cash. Hopefully. What's the goal in a day? There is no goal in the day. You don't have a daily goal. You trade. There's no. I mean, your goal is whatever you want your goal to be. The problem with this is what it does is it makes you try and do your evaluation stages in 5 days. So for me, my goal is $1,600 a day. Why? Because if I can do that, I pass in 5 days. Yeah. What my target should be is $800 a day to pass in 10, or $400 a day to pass in 20, or $300 a day to pass in 30. So there's no daily goal. You can't set a daily goal really. I'm stopped out on that DAX. Your goal is to make money wherever the market gives you. If I go long on the DAX and something happens in Ukraine and it does that, I'm going to make 15 grand. It's not my target. It's just what the market did. There's no daily goal. I like to make 1% a day. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes I make more, sometimes I have losing days. But your goal is 8%, 8,000. I've got 30 days to make $8,000. That's interesting as well. They've got a new 300k account. Costs you $1,400. What's the payout? How the payout works? So they use a company called Deal. So I have an account with Deal, and Deal is basically a remote worker website. Go and look it up, DEEL dot whatever it is. So you set up you sign a contract with My Forex Funds, and basically you can withdraw every. The first payout is 30 days, and then after that you can withdraw every 2 weeks. And they pay the money straight into your Deal account, which you then withdraw into your bank or into PayPal or whatever you want, crypto, whatever you want. They pay you by crypto as well if you want to. Yeah, you just withdraw. There's a button in the admin area that says payout. You click it, you put in how much you want to pull out, you press the button, and literally within 24 hours it's done. They're brilliant. You can't fault them. And I'm in their Discord channel. I'm in their funded trader channel, which is you only get put into it when you're funded. So there's lots of people in there talking about it. There are no negatives at all. And there's lots of people getting 5-figure payouts as well. But those people won't be around for long, I don't suspect, because if you're getting 5-figure profit, you're obviously over leveraging dramatically. So it is long-term thing. Forex funding. Imagine you control 1 million trading account. No one's got a million trading account. Unfortunately. There's one guy in My Forex Funds that's managed to hold his account for 5 months. That's the maximum anybody's done so far. Just watching these lows. Okay. So we're at the lows, so we may well get some buying down here. I'm going to watch and see what happens. If these lows aren't going to hold, I'll be looking to flip short back down to the gap. Going long one. Reduced risk. 10-point risk. Again, looking for a double bottom buy. And this is so much. This is real scalping. Is looking for a double bottom buy. No idea if it's going to work or not, but you know, the double top sells or the triple top sells so far today have all been playing out beautifully. We've got some buyers coming in down here. Good chance of this working. Unfortunately today though, literally every trade I've taken, bar one, has been a loser. Where we go one, we go all. What's that mean? I know that this market is fully controlled by banksters. Well, yeah, this is, I mean, yeah. That's kind of stating the obvious. We're watching the German stock market, which is the banks. Stocks are the banks. I'm going to stop out. I don't know, getting a bit of absorption down here. So quite a lot of strong selling came in then, all absorbed. We may get a push off of these lows. Certainly got some absorption there, but whether or not it's sustaining, it's going to sustain it, I don't know. But a little bit of buying coming in on the Nasdaq and the S&P just after that as well. Very mixed. That's a QAnon slogan. What's a QAnon slogan? You guys are confusing me this morning. Asking lots of questions and saying lots of things I don't understand. Maybe I've got hangover from jet lag. We've got divergence forming at the minute. We've got selling on the DAX and buying on the rest of the markets. So there's obviously something in the DAX that the market's interested in getting rid of at the minute, but so far it seems to be being absorbed fairly well. It's not pushing, but I don't think this is going to work, this double bottom. We'll see. Need to see some buying coming through fairly shortly if we're going to get a bounce off of here. Where we go one, we go all. That's a QAnon slogan. Okay. I don't know who that is or what that is. I'm too old, obviously. A little bit of buying on the S&P. And buying on the DAX. Oh yeah, there's a little bit. Okay, so painting a 3-bar reversal. We've got 4 minutes left on this candle, obviously, so we're miles away from getting this closed. But as we are looking like we may get a little buying off of the bottom. Just no momentum at the minute. There is Q and there is Anons. We are smart money traders. Everyone in this chat should be a full-time trader. How many full-time traders do you really know? I have to ask the question. And that whole smart money traders thing, smart money concepts has been around for years. People call it smart money concepts now. For the last 30, 40 years, we've been calling it support and resistance. The stop run is nothing but a support or resistance bounce. What I'm doing here is not smart money concepts. This is a support buy. This is a limit order run. This has been around forever. This is just how the market works. People call it what they like, and some people make fortunes teaching the same thing, a line. It's a line on a chart. But customer service, I know only one. Peter, not much, yeah. Diamond, yeah. Cool. Zinnia, if you're a full-time trader, what are you doing in here? I have to ask. I'm not saying you're not, obviously, but I know plenty of full-time traders. I don't know plenty of full-time traders. I know 3 full-time traders. But they certainly don't hang around in YouTube channels, Telegram groups, Discord. They're trading. Most of them anyway. Tom Hugard. Yeah, Tom Hugard's full-time trader. Tom Hugard is an ex-broker though as well. So and lecturer. So, you know, I mean, Tom makes money doing lectures. Charges, you know, $1,500 or whatever to go and attend his lectures. So he trades as obviously full time as well. So I assume. I don't know. I mean, the only smart in smart money concepts is how much money the educators get from selling smart money concept courses. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But this is the thing. This industry is completely absorbed by education. You know, it's one of the only jobs where 99% of people spend way more money on education than they ever do make doing the job. Yeah, if you go and become a lawyer, a doctor, a pilot, an accountant, an engineer, whatever, you will spend whatever you spend on your education, and then you will get a job doing that and make money. In 13 years, I can count on one hand the amount of people that are still making money trading that I know. How many people do you think I've met in 13 years? How much money do you think they've spent on education? Because it's just one of those industries where it looks really, really simple on paper. And it just doesn't work that way. He's an extreme scalper too. Tom Hugard, yeah. There's a lot of people out there trading and making lots of content on YouTube. And there's two types. There's people like myself that I don't make any money out of YouTube. You know, I'm not doing it for money. I do it for two reasons. First of all, I like doing it. Secondly, I think it's the easiest, best way to teach people. And thirdly, it keeps me in check. Yeah, I'm taking trades here. Keeps me in check. Makes me analyse, do things properly because I've got other people watching me doing it. And probably the same with people like Tom. But they're not making money out of YouTube channels. Then there's the YouTube channels that have 200 to 300,000 views per video. They're making $2,000 or $3,000 a month out of YouTube. They're not traders. Like I say, they're selling the dream. You can live with small accounts and grow that account. I can grow from €200 to €5,000. Of course, with big risk. You could do it with a small risk. But I would, you know, if you've got $10,000 to start a trade. I started with a small. I started with a 5k account initially. I blew it. I blew multiple 5k accounts. Then I became break even. Then I became profitable. Then I put 10k in because I got more confident, and I nearly blew it that, but I didn't. And then I became much more confident because I saw how I managed to pull the account back. And then I got a 30k account. I put 30k in and I started trading my own money. The advantage of trading your own money is if you've got it, you have no restrictions. So I can do what I like with my accounts. The problem is no one's got that. And everybody tries to grow a small account into a big account. And the problem is you can trade a small account with, you know, you can start a $300, $500 account and trade one contract or two contracts at a time. You're over leveraging massively on it and you might have a lucky run. But what's happening in the back of your head is you're now subconsciously getting used to trading one or two contracts. And when you have that bad run, your account gets blown. The best thing to do is take that $500 and give it to my Forex funds and get a proper sized account and trade small. But you know, you can't do this until you've got a demo account or you've blown a couple of personal accounts, because nobody wants to, and this is what I said earlier, what's the target per day? Well, 1,600. Because if you want to pass it in 5 days because you've got no patience, the target is $1,600 a day. But if you pass it in 10 days, you're used to now targeting $1,600 a day. And then when you get to $1,600 a day and then you have a bad day, you get cross and you over leverage and you blow the account. And this is what these guys are betting on. Yeah, 5 people have made it to more than 3 months and held onto their accounts because the whole prop firm industry conditions you into making fast bucks. And that's just the way this industry works, unfortunately. What you should be doing is trying to pass this in as long as it takes. Forget this, get rid of this bit here completely. Pass it in as long as it takes and then continue to do that. But it's very, very hard to do because you are psychologically conditioned to want to do it fast. Jesse Liverless, that's a great name. I've been trading for the last 4 years full time, but it's tough and not so glamorous. Yeah, that's the other reason I do this on YouTube. You know, just to show you what it's really like. Yeah, am I having a good day? No, not at all. Did I have a good day yesterday? Yeah, brilliant. That's real. Real life. Now, you're among a rare breed of traders who trade live and profitably. Well, not today. Front of traders for free. Yeah. See, Zinnia, you've just proved to me you're not a full-time trader. You started with 300 yesterday and now your account is at 1200. You've done a 300% increase on your account in 24 hours. That's not trading, that's gambling. You're a really good gambler. Really good gambler. Honestly, that's not trading, is it? Complete over-leveraging, that is. Going back to talking about Tom Hugard, he trades silly money. I can't remember what it is. As far as I know, he only trades indices. Pretty sure. But he trades silly money. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars a pip, a point on indices. But that's okay because he's a millionaire. If you've got $300 in your account, you should be trading 0.01s. And you're not, because you can't trade 0.01s up to 1200 in 24 hours, can you? It's just gambling. But there's nothing wrong with gambling. I like gambling. I don't gamble with money that I need to pay the mortgage with, though. That's the difference. That's the problem. Everybody's told that they can take a $500 account up to $1 million by compounding. You can't, because your psychology will not let you. Will not let you do that. The Roman rise was also not built within a week. Good analogy, yeah. Rome was not built in a day. But this is the thing. They've all got these minimum days, and this is not here for anything but to ensure that you are at a level of trading experience and knowledge that you can have a P&L that does this, yeah, rather than that. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for P&Ls that are taking losses, taking hits, and you can withstand those hits. CTI is a minimum of 60 days. FTMO is 10 days. These guys are 5. Which is why I love CTI. They are they're saying you've got to wait 60 days to pass, which is great. Okay, just running into potential resistance at the moment. There's still no liquidity in the market at all, so we're just still algo trading at the moment. So I've got these 2 positions on. I'm going to let these run, looking for a long move somewhere, not sure where. Waiting for the market to make a move. So at the minute, all we've got is chop, and we've basically just retested the lows of pre-market session. So basically back at the open. So we've got a bit of selling coming in now. We're either going to hold this and we're going to make a run higher, or we're going to break down today. So one of these, I think today is going to be our target. Long or short. Short is obviously much easier to get to, much faster. Long is obviously a much bigger reward. But either way, I don't think it's going to be pretty. getting there today. There's no liquidity. It is so choppy. We're getting the odd order dumped, which is giving us a bit of movement, and then we're literally getting chop. So you need fairly wide stops on stuff at the moment, which is where I've got stuck today, just getting chopped out, expecting a move basically, and didn't get it. So but yeah, so just waiting really for some movement in either direction. So I'm either going to get that today or I'm going to get that. If we trade down to the low here, I will probably look to see if we can get a bounce off of these lows. But by the time we get down to there, I'm going to be trading the Nasdaq anyway this afternoon. I'm not going to trade the DAX this afternoon. I'll be trading NAS. So NAS has basically chewed me up this morning, given back yesterday's gains so far. I've got 2 trades on Euro and US, so we'll see if we get some profit out of those. I'm going to keep an eye on these, obviously, because that one was just a pure prove a point by pressing a button job. Going into drawdown at the moment, but 7.15 I was looking at, wasn't it? So we're retesting the reversal alert, so I'm actually going to reduce risk on it a little bit. So we are either going to hold, retest and drop, or we're not. And if we don't, I don't want to get any deeper than that because I'm wrong. We're going to come up and retest this gap. So we'll see how that plays out. And obviously pound US, I'm in short from that pullback. We are getting some buying after the reversal alert. So we had that accumulation push. We seem to be buying out of that at the moment, but again, as I say, no US dollar strength whatsoever at the minute. So hopefully this is just a V-shaped recovery, and then we're probably just going to accumulate for the rest of this session, and we'll see if we get some strength off the US dollar. But we've got nothing news-wise at the moment until tomorrow afternoon. We've got unemployment on the US, but the main thing is CPI on Friday. So I got a feeling the market's hanging at the minute, not really wanting to do a lot until we get the Euro news, which I'd be a bit surprised because that'd be 2 days sitting there doing nothing. But certainly it's bearish at the minute, but we may well get that nice reversal. So we'll see if this is the peak formation low, and then we're going to get that run up. If not, I'll be out of that. I'm going to reduce risk on the position as well. I'm just going to put both stops down there. There's no point in letting the second one run. If we break this low, I think we're going lower today. So I'm not going to stop out down there. I'll stop out here, take less of a loss. But yeah, terrible morning. Just chopped to pieces today. So I will. I'll upgrade the update in the Telegram group what I'm going to do if I do anything else this morning. But at the minute the DAX is just gone bearish and is kind of slowly grinding down. So one of those two is going to play out, and it looks like the bears at the minute. Loads of selling coming in across the market now. Yeah, probably have the answer before I go off stream. Mind you, the NAS is not. Yeah, it's not a lot. See, we're holding up really well. We've got divergence formed now. We've got pushing higher on the US markets and pushing down here. So this is all DAX selling going on at the moment. So I think we're coming down to the gap fill. So fairly decent short opportunity down to there, 144.75 ish. But I'd be a bit. It's going to be quite tricky to get into this because we got, it's probably going to chop around and take its time getting down there. Based on the fact that we've got divergence now and we've got bullish action coming in on the US indices. Confusing morning. 3k loss, 3% down. So not the end of the world. I'm only a k down on the account. So got 10k drawdown available to me, so loads of room. But yeah, crappy session. Made £500 account out of 250, but I'm between 550 and 500. Cool. We hold the GU. Yeah, I'm holding pound US. So I'm holding pound US short. Up to you what you want to do with it. And obviously I'm break even there, so I could break even stop on that. But if I break even stop on it, I'll get taken out and then it'll drop. So I'd rather have the risk on. I haven't got a lot of risk on this. If we break this high, I don't want to be in it anymore. But equally, I don't want to get taken out on a pullback drop. So I'm going to keep my stops where they are, and assume that we are still going to be staying bearish on the pound, and we are going to get some US dollar strength coming through at some point. It could come any time. More likely it's going to come at New York Open in this afternoon's session. So if we do get that strength, bear in mind we've done ADR on the pound already today. Yeah, so the pound has done its move. So yeah, hopefully we'll get that pushed down. And the euro trade, yeah, CAD strong. I like it. I'm always liking to short the euro. So whether or not we're going to get any movement though is another thing. You know, I mean, look at the range we've put in today. London. That's it. We've had 45 minutes. The market's just dead. So just going to hold it. Hold these two. They'll either play out or they won't. If they play out, it's going to go a fairly decent way to getting rid of some of my loss today. But I will try and make that back this afternoon in the New York session. And I'll have a look at my signal thingy. It's not... I don't know why this isn't working. It was working absolutely fine yesterday. But today it's suddenly decided it doesn't want to send any signals at all. So I'll have a look at that and see if I can fix it. I've no idea why it's not working today. I've restarted the terminal. Auto trading's turned on. It's all working. It's just not sending any signals to Telegram for some reason. So I will figure that one out and hopefully get it working for this afternoon. But it's on my list. Okay, guys. So hopefully you have a good rest of the day. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50, same time. I'll be posting in the group any trades I'm taking this afternoon on the US indices. I've got a daily drawdown limit of 5k, so obviously I've got to be careful this afternoon. I normally would stop around here anyway, but I will take a couple of trades this afternoon and see if I can get some runners. And obviously I've got these running. These there's about 4k profit on these, I think. So if they play out, that'll be me done anyway today. So but yeah, we'll see what happens. So I'll be back tomorrow morning 7:50. If you need anything, come in the Telegram group. I will be in there. Other than that, have a good afternoon. Hopefully the afternoon session goes better, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a good one.